lived here, came here as a student. Always seen myself, always, growing up, being part of the community, always have loved to be part of the community and have loved to be able to see how I can make a difference and in any community where I found myself. And it's what informed my journey, and graduated, and you know got married to a partner as well who was extremely ambitious, right? And just entrepreneurial focused. So we had to juggle things, and then we started our business, Daniola Corporation, which as underrepresented founders in Canada had its unique challenges. And through doing that work and through the hurdles and steps that we had to face, trying to create Daniola Corporation, and that is what has informed our work as well, to begin an organization called Bipoc Foundation, an organization that we have decided to model, through our journey, so that the steps and the hurdles and the resources that we had found it difficult to access as we were trying to start and grow our business, that those coming behind us would not have to pass through those hoops and those hurdles to be able to start and grow their businesses. So just in a nutshell, I know the question you asked is loaded. I hope I've just been able to provide some context about me.
Absolutely. That's
Right.
just the beginning. So can you tell us a little bit about the mission and the vision of your organization?
Well, our mission is very, very straightforward. It's to strengthen a network of underestimated and underserved entrepreneurs and founders through capacity building and access to resources that will encourage positive and economic participation. And our vision is to foster economic empowerment, financial inclusion, and representation for all underestimated or underrepresented entrepreneurs globally.
Oh, that's great. I
Right.
appreciate that. So what inspires you most about your work?
Well, it's the faces that I see every day, right? And the results, just the little steps, that we are able to help these businesses that we work with take as we do this work on a daily basis, and this is what inspires me. This is what continues to amplify the fact that the work, there is need for the work that we're doing. And there's a lot of stories around that we've curated over the last couple of years, that we've gotten into doing this kind of work for the community that contributes to that.
Okay, that's great. So what kind of challenges or barriers do you face in your work, and how are you overcoming them?
Well, obviously, as an underrepresented entrepreneur myself, who now also represents the community, there is a lot of there's a lot of misconceptions and expectations as to, especially as someone who runs an organization that has been funded by the government, and with having to deal with folks who do not understand the parameters or the relationship between ourselves and the government, and what that funding is supposed to be directed towards, right? So we're faced with challenges of, on a daily basis, having to explain to those people that we are providing resources. We are not allowed to provide funding, right? There's organizations who have been funded, who are fund intermediaries that are allowed to provide funding, but we will provide you we will provide you network, we will provide you resources, we will provide you knowledge, and we will provide you mentorship, and then we will connect you to our sister organizations that provide funding, and that's how we work, right? So personally, just navigating this, and having to explain that, and meeting people who do not who takes a while to understand, to come to terms with that, is what I would say stands out as a challenge that I've had to deal with on a daily basis.
Thank you. And do you have a key set of priorities that you're working on right now that stand out?
Well, our priorities are very, very streamlined and straight, and that is being able to ensure that the entrepreneurs that work through our programs are at the end of the day connected with the right resources that they need after going through our program. So I want to say in care and post care. So we don't want to be a revolving door. We're not just a program offering organization where people will just come and take programs and leave. We've built into our programming that aftercare and that one-on-one business advisory services, the chaperones, the entrepreneurs that are going through our programs towards the right resources after working with them to determine what that right resource is. If it's funding, they get connected to funding. If it's mentorship, they get connected with mentorship. If it's network, ecosystem network, we have a bouquet of prestigious ecosystem partners that we work with, and because we do not have all the answers, obviously, so we connect them with those partners that can provide them with the right answers.
Thank you so much. That makes sense. And it's very valuable, like even the connection to where they can get the funding. So we appreciate that. And how do you feel about the future of Black entrepreneurship in Canada?
This is obviously a fantastic, beginning. The last couple of years has been historic, right, for the Black entrepreneurship community, with the government, taking the right steps, towards, providing some funding to, kind of spur up, some activities and some work, within that space. The government have done well, but obviously it's just, I like to say it's just a scratch, right? It's just the tip of the iceberg because, this is a demographic that has historically, been, obviously underrepresented, underfunded. There is a lot of data to show that, this demographic has been underserved, but hey, I see a future where this allows us, where we're building the right foundation towards where we're supposed to be. And I'm hoping that we can continue to partner with those philanthropic organizations and as well as the government over a longer time than is right now being anticipated. That way we can build a solid foundation to be able to ensure that as immigrants continue to come into this country, we have the right resources, and organizations like ourselves are well positioned to be there to help them ease in and draft the right resources and get them strong enough that now becomes of economic advantage even to the country. So help empower us to help empower the people, and the people will now empower the community, and just on an ongoing basis. Thank you.
Absolutely. And what is your ultimate goal? What does success look like for you and your colleagues?
Well, obviously, there is lots of talks around bias, right? Systemic racism, systemic bias, along the corridors of the work we do. We would love to see a future where this is no longer a conversation. Yeah, because a future where we have a well-informed community and a well-informed society, and a collaborative one at that, where allies now understand the intricacies, where organizations are not scared when they hear Black, where they're not scared when they hear Bipoc, where everybody is easy, and they realize that underneath the skin it's the same color, right? And there is really no no creed or no race, but people who are united, by a common goal, common purpose, and we can work together, and we can continue to grow up in an informed, empowered community, is what I would like to see.
That's great. I think we can all appreciate that. Do you have any words of wisdom for emerging leaders or young people who are entering the ecosystem right now?
Well, I have a default, that I go to when it comes to, words of wisdom, and it's one that has really, empowered me lots, even as a leader myself, and that's the words of the great Martin Luther King that says, it says, the words of Martin Luther say an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. You need to know that, it's not about you, because if it's about you, then it's not enough of a course. It's about your children, it's about your neighbors, it's about your community, and it's about the entire world. And that is the reason why, the work is not just for one person, the work is for every one of us, and we need to put our hands together to ensure that we build a community that we want to see our kids live in.
Absolutely, so important. And we appreciate that. I think everyone can do something with that. But do you have any additional closing thoughts or calls to action for our community?
Well, there's a few things that I like to say, just from a community standpoint, just understanding that, I've seen communities where people live in silos, where people think it's other people's concern or other people's business to work at economic empowerment and or any form of empowerment at all, to work at creating, that kind of a system where we're all together and we're all putting our efforts and hands together to build our community. We just want to see more people stand up. No matter what you are, no matter what the contribution is, there is nothing too small that you can contribute to this community to ensure that we get to where we want to be as a people.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So again, we appreciate your time, your phenomenal leadership, and everything you're doing with the Bipoc organization. We want to also close the way that we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we are on. We want to acknowledge our ancestors and those who toiled without compassion or compensation, as well as our elders and community stewards whose shoulders we continue to stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So Clement, thank you once again for your leadership and for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate you.